Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing kind of a review, maybe not, depends on how you think of it. And basically, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the Avengers Age of Ultron end credit scene. So yeah, I will be doing my spoiler tag as usual, 10-second spoiler warning as usual for those I've had yet to watch the movie, because this is the end credit scene. So by that logic, 10 second, you would have needed to watch the movie, basically, is all I'm saying. So yeah, as usual, 10-second spoiler warning as usual for those that have yet to actually watch the movie, because hence it does have the end credit scene and that. So for those that have yet to actually watch the movie and haven't already, stop the video, go check it out, or go check out the movie as a whole, for God's sakes, and then come back here and watch the rest of this thought video review. I mean, it's not really a review per se, because I'm not gonna say Age of Ultron end credit scene review. I'm gonna be putting it more as whether this was a disappointment or not. But whatever, 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those who have yet to actually watch the movie and the end credit scene, by that logic, for those who have yet to watch all that and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me that never gave you fair warnings because as usual I did. So yeah. So basically in this video I will be discussing whether the end credit scene was a disappointment or not. Basically what I'll see if I can find it online, and eventually when it does become available online, if it's not already, I will be leaving a link down below. So yeah, basically the end credit scene is about 10 to 12 seconds long. It's not that long. And basically what happened in that end credit scene, what happened in the end credit scene, you have the Infinity Gauntlet, and you have Thanos, who opens the vault to which the Infinity Gauntlet is in. He takes the Infinity Gauntlet and says, I'll just have to get all the gems myself. Basically, he says he has to do all the heavy lifting, he has to do all the work himself. And I actually did like the end credit scene. Now there's been some, I don't want to say controversy over the end credit scene, but there has been debate whether this is a good or bad end credit scene per se. Now my friend, he really doesn't like the end credit scene. He says that's too typical, that's expected. And I asked him, what does expected per se mean? And he says that basically his logic is that almost every single end credit scene at some point, at a certain point, had to happen. For example, the first one in the Avengers, the one we needed to reveal that Thanos was gonna be in this eventually. So it was expected, but at the same time, it's unexpected. So it's kind of a controversy between each other. It's that it's expected, but unexpected. Now he told him to explain. He's like a better end credit scene would have been something like Thunderbolt being introduced, especially with what's going on in the TV show, because he is an Inhuman. The Inhumans are in the Shield TV show, from what I know. I believe Sky is an Inhuman at this point. I'm not completely sure on that. So yeah, he says that probably would have been a better end credit scene, and I do agree that probably would have been a better end credit scene. And basically, he says that we've already seen that end credit scene several times. We saw it with Avengers, with Thanos. We saw it with the end of Thor: The Dark World, I believe. He says when they showed the Aether, giving it to the Collector. So he says to some degree we've seen that the Infinity Gauntlet is an important thing, and that everybody does want it. So it's kind of expected. He says it's kind of expected, but at the same time, for this end credit scene, it's not really unexpected. He's like, he completely expected it to be there. He said it wouldn't have surprised him. He also says he would have probably preferred more than one end credit scene, as there usually is, and that's right. There usually is like 2 or 3 end credit scenes. Captain America: The Winter Soldier had 2 end credit scenes. Avengers had 1 end credit scene, but for God's sakes, and so did the first Captain America, and that was just basically a trailer to Avengers. So there's that. But for the most part, they do have like 2 end credit scenes, or something. So he's right in that they probably should have had like 2 end credit scenes, one with Thanos and maybe another one. And then this is what we were discussing. What would have been the second end credit scene? And basically, he gave some pretty viable options, which I think I would have preferred over this one, despite the fact that I really did enjoy this one. I do think that his ideas for the other end credit scene were better than what we got, in my opinion. So basically, aside from the Inhumans tease towards Inhumans with Thunderbolt or whatever, he says they could have maybe done something like have maybe Hank Pym Antman or whatever, or Scott Lang Antman watch a news of the incident in Wakanda or Scandinavia, wherever the hell the huge battle took place at the end of the movie. Watch like a newscast of it, and have Hank Pym watch it and says, now we need a new Ant-Man or something like that. That would have been good. He says even the fake how do you say, the fake end credit scene that was supposedly leaked right before with Spiderman. He says that was actually that would have been even a better end credit scene than what we got, because we got an introduction to Spidey in the cinematic universe. And he's right, that would have been better. I did like it, but I always did call bullshit on that. I called bullshit on that like in an instant, because I believe that was part of a ride or something like that. Or like the dialogue is part of a ride or something, like a Disney theme park ride or something it's like a Disney theme park ride in, what is it, Universal Studios or whatever, I don't know, where they have, I'm forgetting the theme park, for God's sakes, Universal, there, I know, because I've got on the ride, that's how I remember, so, yeah, I call bullshit on that, but I do agree that would have been a better end credit scene that we got. Now, I did like the end credit scene that we got, but I do believe that he is right, that there were better options for an end credit scene. Have a tease towards Inhumans, especially with what we got now. I'm not sure if Vin Diesel has been signed on to become Thunderbolt, not from what I know, so that's why they probably didn't do it. But maybe something with like Ant-Man, that would have been good. Have Benedict Cumberbatch, become Doctor Strange or something. I don't know, or have a tease at Doctor Strange. Have a tease at Ragnorock, Civil War. Maybe have Chadwick Boseman kind of see the events, also what happened in Wakanda, Scandinavia, whatever, and then decide to be Black Panther. I don't know. Have Ulysses Claus get his metal arm. That would have been pretty cool to see. So yeah, there were a lot of options for different end credit scenes that I do think are better than what we got. And despite the fact that I did like what we got at the end, I do believe there are other end credit scenes that could have been better. Also maybe see what happened at the end with Hulk would have been good to see. So yeah, Ragnarok, after Thor comes back, goes back to Asgard, see what happens. Possibly with Ragnarok. There are better options. So at the end, was the end credit scene for Avengers: Age of Ultron a disappointment? I would have to say, yeah, it was a disappointment. Despite the fact that I did like it, it was a disappointment at the end. So yeah, that's basically it for this, for my opinions on it. Comment down below on your thoughts on the end credit scene. Do you think it's a disappointment per se? Did you like it, or did you like it? Because I liked it, but I still think, when you actually come to think of it, I liked it, but it was still a disappointment. So yeah, that's basically for my thoughts on it. Comment down below on your thoughts on it. Do you think it was a disappointment or not? And if not, why not? And if you do think it's a disappointment, what do you think would have been a better end credit scene? Because here I just spewed out like 10 ideas that me and my friend came up with, from Ragnarok to what happened to Hulk, to set up to Ragnarok, Civil War, to to Spidey's introduction, Inhumans introduction, who else? Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Black Panther's introduction. See what happened with Hulk at the end. Here I spewed out like 10 different options. And you say his claws semi-origin story with the metal claw that he has in the comics. Because we got him in this movie. So yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Comment all that down below, let me know. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. Aside from that, subscribe. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. And yeah, I will be doing a few Age of Ultron discussion topics. I just kind of wanted a couple weeks for it to pass, so I could, so I don't really feel like I'm spoiling that much from the movie. And yeah, that's basically for my thoughts on it. And yeah, like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. Subscribe, and that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.